Good evening. Am I audible to you? Gaurav Bhardwaj. Am I audible to you? Send a message in chat box. Am I audible to you?
Yes, I can hear you. Yes.
Yeah.
I have a question. I have a Mac, so can I use Postgres or should I still try to do like a VM with SQL?
What you want to install SQL Server in your system, MacBook?
Yeah, I was thinking, can I use Postgres SQL Server or do I have to use Microsoft SQL for this course?
Oh, SQL Server, Microsoft SQL Server.
Okay.
Okay. You just see if there is any compatible version for Mac, you can install. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Right. Let's begin the session. Let me share the screen. Okay. So yesterday, we have seen the types of SQL commands. Okay, SQL commands we have seen what types of SQL commands are there. So based on the operations of our database, SQL commands are categorized into 5 types. Okay, DDL, DML, DQL, TCL, and DCL. Okay, after that, I explained you about how to install SQL Server also. Okay, so now once installation is done, okay, so we have to work with the SQL Server Management Studio. Okay, so I'm trying to reopen that one again. So this is SQL Server Management Studio. Okay, just execute SQL Server Management Studio. Okay, now how to connect to SQL Server? How to connect to SQL Server? SQL Server. Okay. See here, I opened SQL Server. Here, it is asking the server name. Okay. So it takes the server name from your system. It is nothing but your system name. Okay. Once it is done, authentication. The next one is authentication. Okay. We have Windows authentication, SQL Server authentication, Microsoft Entra password integrated MFA, several types of Microsoft Entra things are there here. Okay, up to default, Entra default. Okay, and the moment I select here SQL Server authentication, it is asking username and password. Okay, if it is Windows authentication, no need to give username and password. It takes Windows authentication. It takes Windows, whoever the user of Windows operating system, that will be considered as the user here. Okay, and we have database name, encrypt option, mandatory option, strict. Okay, these things are there. Let us discuss about these things. Okay, so anyhow, server name in the sense your system name. This is your system name that you can give. Okay, next one is authentications. Authentication. Let us see. Server name. Server name in the sense computer name. Okay, computer name. It is the name of the name of the server, name of the server. Okay, suppose your remote SQL server is at a remote location. Okay, usually they give IP address. Usually they give IP address. You have to give that IP address. So for practice purpose, we install both the things, SQL server as well as application, client application in our system. So no need to give. By default, it takes the server name, computer name as a server name. Okay, server name, it is the computer name. Next one is authentication. 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 Here we have Windows authentication, server authentication. First, let me explain you both the things. Okay, Windows authentication is for a single user. It is for single user. In our system, we installed, and I am only the person using this system. So for single user, it is okay. Windows authentication. Okay. For multiple users, if you select SQL Server authentication, immediately it asks username and password. It asks username and password. Okay, there may be a chance of having multiple developers working on the same database. So usually a database administrator, he creates the usernames and roles he gives, and also he provides the access privileges. Okay, a username and password. So using that username and password, you can log in and you can work on it. Okay, so multiple users can work on it if it is SQL Server authentication. For single user, Windows authentication. Okay, let me write here. Windows authentication. Windows authentication. Okay, it is for single user. Single user. Next one is SQL Server authentication. Okay, SQL Server authentication. It is for multiple users. It is for multiple users. Okay. Next, the thing is here we have Microsoft Entra password, Microsoft Entra integrated. So let me explain about that. Okay. Actually, earlier the companies assume that if any company have 100 systems, okay, or 1000 systems, the companies, they used to maintain a server system. It is installed with a server operating system. It is a server system. Okay, and system administrator, he used to create users names in the server system. Okay, that means employees accounts he creates in the server. Okay, and he manages all the system from the server itself, all the client systems wherever the employees work, that is called a client system. And whichever system we are controlling it, that is server system. Just one second. So the administrator, what he used to do is he used to create users information and credentials. He creates user ID and password. He provides that credentials to the employees, and they used to log in into their systems which are allotted for them using those usernames and passwords. Okay, to do all these things, system administrator, he used to use a component or a directory service called Active Directory, where it is in server system. There itself, he used to create usernames and what kind of services they can use. That means authorization. He used to give authorization and all using Active Directory. But with the technology evolution, later the company started using cloud technologies. So Now companies, they moved to cloud technologies and they started using creating their systems, virtual systems, installing software there itself in the cloud. Okay, particularly if you take Microsoft Azure service, it is there. So with that they can use Azure service and they can create virtual systems and everything they can manage there. There also they provided Azure Active Directory to create usernames, to provide usernames and passwords, and to give what you call access privileges, authorization and all. So it is similar to the earlier one there, where actually the companies used to maintain in their organization privileges, organization, what you call server. Okay, so this Azure Active Directory later the Microsoft renamed it as Microsoft Entra ID. Microsoft Entra ID. Microsoft renamed it in 2023. They renamed it Microsoft Entra ID. Okay, so after changing it, that credentials, what are the services, here it is showing now. So they started using them like this, Microsoft Entra password, Microsoft Entra integrated, like that. Okay, let us see one by one. Okay, let me write here. Actually, Microsoft, first let me write this, Microsoft Entra ID is an identity and access management, IAM, okay, solution that helps okay, organizations secure and manage identities in cloud, as well as in what you call on-premises environments. Okay, so Microsoft Entra ID is an identity and access management, IAM, solution that helps organizations secure and manage identities in cloud as well as on-premises environments, on-premises servers. Okay, so earlier it was Azure AD, Azure Active Directory. Okay, Azure AD, Azure Active Directory. Okay, in 2023, in 2023, Microsoft renamed it as Microsoft Entra ID. Okay, they renamed it. That means it manages user logins and access to applications, cloud services and data. It is for managing user logins, access to applications, cloud services and data. Okay, so simply we can say authentication, authorization, right? Now see what is authentication. Okay, authentication is the process of identifying the user. Okay, authentication is the process of identifying the user or user's identity. Okay, what is authorization? It is the process of giving uh, access privileges to the user once he is authenticated. Okay. It is the process of giving access privileges to the user once he is authenticated. So using Microsoft Entra, we can manage both the things. What is the one is cloud, Azure cloud, and also on-premises environments, on-premises servers. Okay. So simply authentication in the sense what, who are you? That means it checks that. Authentication. What can he access? That is authorization. Okay. So it helps companies. First one is to prevent unauthorized access. Okay. Second one is to apply multi-factor authentication. Okay, MFA. Okay, and also to secure both employees and external users. Okay, and fourth one to simplify logins. Okay, logins. So these are the benefits from what is that Microsoft Entra ID we get. Okay, so we have a single user authentication. What is this? Windows authentication or SQL Server authentication. Both you can use. If you have Microsoft user ID and password, that also you can use, but usually we work with Windows authentication, SQL Server authentication. Okay, but it is better to learn all these things. What are they? The Microsoft Entra ID and the password, MFA, all these things. Let us discuss about that. Okay, the first one is Microsoft Entra MFA. That means multi-factor authentication. What it is? Okay, it's an extra layer of security. It's an extra layer of security requiring more than just a password. Okay, password. Nowadays in Gmail also we have this facility. Okay, multi-factor authentication and all. Okay, what it uses is, the second point is it uses OTP via SMS or email. Okay, and Microsoft authentication or authenticator app that we can install in our mobile application. Okay, Microsoft authenticator app, and also biometrics. That means face or fingerprint. Okay, with this we can log in. OTP, it generates OTP via SMS or email, and Microsoft authenticator app that we can install in our mobile. Okay, so whenever you want to log in, it shows a code. The code you have to put, or some process will be there in your mobile. You can give authentication. Okay, and biometrics, any of these things, face and fingerprint authorization. Okay, the next one is Microsoft Entra password authentication. Microsoft Entra password authentication. Okay, Microsoft Entra password authentication. This is actually it is the simplest form of authentication. It is the simplest form of authentication. Actually, it uses email that we know, username we give, okay, and also we provide passwords that we know, okay, for cloud access. It is the simplest one. Okay, third one is Microsoft Entra integrated authentication. Microsoft Entra integrated authentication. Okay, it uses our Windows or domain account to authenticate, okay, automatically. That means no need to re-enter, credentials. Okay, it is similar like our Windows authentication. See, the moment you select Windows authentication, it is not asking username and password. Okay, it is similar to Windows authentication. Okay, what is this? Okay. Okay, so the next one is service principal. Microsoft Entra service principal. Okay, let us see what it is. It is a special identity. It is a special identity by applications or automation scripts to access Azure services. Okay, it is a special identity, okay, used by applications or automation scripts to access Azure resources. Okay, it is for automation. Actually, there also, if we have a user ID and password kind of things, it's a special identity. So that also we can use. Okay, it is Microsoft Entra service principal. Okay, the fifth one is Microsoft Entra managed identity. Okay, it is a built-in identity. It is a built-in identity for Azure services or resources. That means virtual machines, functions, web applications. We use web apps, etc. Okay, it's a built-in identity. Microsoft Entra managed ID in the identity, in the sense it's a built-in identity for Azure services, virtual machines, functions, web apps we create. Okay, actually it allows Azure services to talk each other securely. It allows Azure services to talk to each other securely. Okay, that is Microsoft Entra managed identity. Okay, the next one is Microsoft Entra default credentials. Let us see what it is. Actually, if you know about .NET and all, so while installing Visual Studio, there also we create our user ID and password. Okay, Azure SDK in the software development kits. So whenever we install that, there also we create user ID and password for Visual Studio and all. If you are a .NET developer, you will understand that. Okay, otherwise, no problem. So that kind of what you call user ID and passwords also we can use here. Internally, it checks the user ID and password and the login. Okay, default, and many ways are there. Default authentication method for it is a default authentication method for Azure SDKs, software development kits, call them as Azure CLI, okay, command line interface, and Terraform. Okay, so what it does is it checks one by one. And whichever is valid, it logins. Then it's a smart system, that tries every available ID badge until one works. Okay, it checks everything. So whenever it is valid, then it will log in. Okay, that is Microsoft Entra default credentials. Okay, Visual Studio login, it uses CLI login, it uses, or managed identity, it uses environment variables we create, that also it uses. So whichever works, then it will take that credentials and log in into the SQL server. Okay, that is Microsoft Entra default credentials. If you understand this, okay. Otherwise, no problem, because if you have knowledge on Azure, then you will understand this easily. Okay, but these are also here we use for authentication purpose. But for practice and all, we use Windows authentication or SQL Server authentication. But while installing, when you install SQL Server, you select SQL Server authentication. It works for both. Okay. Now, next one is connection security. Connection security. See here, anything we select, right? Okay. After selecting also here, see, it is showing encrypt, mandatory, optional, strict, and also trust server certificate. It is showing. Okay. So we have to discuss about that. Connection security. What it is? When a client, that means SSMS, SQL Server Management Studio, okay, or any other application connects to SQL Server, the connection can be protected using encryption, so that others, that means hackers, okay, cannot see the sensitive information or sensitive data, like usernames, okay, or passwords, okay, queries or query results also, okay, travels over the network. Okay, so connection security, we can provide security to the connection. Whenever we connect to the SQL server, we have to provide the security. Okay, so how do we do that? Actually, SQL server uses SSL or TLS. It uses SSL or TLS to encrypt to encrypt the connection, okay. SSL in the sense secure socket layer, and TLS in the sense transport layer security, they are the cryptographic protocols used to secure communication over a network, okay. They are the, let me write, these are the cryptographic, okay, protocols used to secure connection or secure communication or a network. See, in websites, see, we use HTTP or HTTPS. What is the difference? HTTPS in the sense SSL certificate will be there for web application to provide security. That means it encrypts the data. Okay, it does both the things, encrypt and decrypt also. Okay, for security, for providing security, we use HTTP because if you take banking applications, so the money related transactions will be there. So the banks has to provide security for them. So they use SSL certificate. So then you have to type, instead of HTTP, you type HTTPS. Okay, so that encryption works internally. Here also we have the same thing, SSL, TLS. Another thing is TLS. They are cryptographic protocols used to secure communication or a network. Okay, so they encrypt the data before sending and also decrypt the data at other end. Both the things it works. So that even if someone intercepts the traffic, they cannot understand the data. That is the use of these cryptographic protocols, SSL and TLS. Okay, now here we have mandatory something. It is a encrypt, mandatory, optional, strict. What are they? What it is? Encrypt. 3 are there, na? Encrypt. Mandatory we have. Mandatory. Okay. Next one is strict. Strict we have. And also optional. Let us see one by one. Mandatory in the sense must use encryption. Okay, must use encryption, but doesn't check certificate strictly. Okay, must use encryption but doesn't check certificate strictly. What is this certificate? First see this trust server certificate. It is there, it is selected, right? Let us see what is that. Trust server certificate. What it is? It is a setting. It is a setting used when connecting to SQL server over a secure connection. Okay, secure connection, and it tells the client in the sense our SSMS. Okay, client whether tells the client whether or not to trust the server or server's SSL or TLS certificate without validating it. So trust server certificate, it is a setting. Okay, if it is selected, that means true. that means true. Then it skips certificate validation. It skips certificate validation. Okay. So if it is not selected, then false. Validates the certificate fully. That means host name, issuer name, etc. Okay. I will tell you. I will show you that exactly here. If you see advanced here it shows you what is this? Trust server certificate true. By default it is true, and it contains host name. See here, host name. Usually the company gives it server, wherever server maintains, that company gives the host name also. It checks that. Okay. So here trust certificate, if it is selected, that means true. It skips the certificate validation, that we can trust the server. That means trust the server. If it is false, it has to validate the certificate by using host name and all. Company provides the host name that you have to give here. I will show you that. Here you have to give the host name. Okay. And what is the link between this mandatory and trust server certificate? Now see. Mandatory in the sense must use encryption but doesn't check certificate strictly. This is the certificate internal setting. Okay, it uses encryption but doesn't check certificate. It doesn't check certificate, but it uses encryption. That is mandatory. Now, strict in the sense must use encryption and validate certificate properly. Okay, so it also same. It uses encryption. And also validate the certificate. It validates the certificate. Strict in the sense. Okay, and optional in the sense it tries for encryption. It tries for encryption. It is optional. Tries for encryption if available. Otherwise it will leave it. Simply it will leave. It's an optional. Okay. So for connection security, the important thing you must understand is trust server certificate. What is the use of trust server certificate? It is an internal setting. So if it is true, that means it skips certificate validation. Okay, just encrypts. It just encrypts. And false if it is unselected, false. That means validates. It has to validate the certificate. That is the difference. And along with this you have to select either mandatory, strict, optional. Mandatory in the sense must use encryption. So encryption must be done and it doesn't check certificate. Strict, must use encryption and validate the certificate. Optional, anything is okay for it. Tries encryption if available, otherwise it will leave. Okay, it will leave. That is connection security. Okay, usually DB database administrator, he understands all these things. So for your understanding, I just explained. Okay, even though you have any doubt here, you can ask me later. Okay, but usually we use Windows authentication, SQL Server authentication, these two only here, and we can log in. Just see, I am using Windows authentication. Okay, connect. See, it is connected.
What is the name of this tool? This is
SQL Server Management Studio.
SQL Server. Okay, Management Studio. Okay,
SQL Server Management Studio. Yesterday I told you, na, SQL Server Management Studio. It's a client application through which we can connect to the server and work on it. Okay, and so if it is what is this SQL Server authentication, then you have to give user ID and password. By default, it is SA, System Administrator. It shows you when you install SQL Server, it shows you whenever we check, whenever you select SQL Server authentication as a mixed mode, it shows you SC as the system administrator, and password you have to give that. Okay, password. Let me give my password. See, connected. It is the first one is Windows authentication. The second one is this one, SQL Server mode, SQL Server authentication. Okay, either one you can use, no problem. Okay, now okay, logged in. Now here, just see here the complete thing is here, SQL Server Management Studio. Wait, this is a new query window. This is a new query window. Here it is the new query window. Okay, let me disconnect one. I will disconnect this one. Okay, this is enough. This is enough. Okay, now it is SQL Server Management Studio. Here it displays all the databases, whatever databases we created, or default databases, everything it shows here in this drop down box. Okay, and here new query window, how many you want, you can create new query windows. Okay, you can create new windows. Okay, usually here we write SQL queries. Okay, now let us see here left side. This is Object Explorer. This is Object Explorer. Under this server connection, once it is connected, see, it is showing databases. It is showing this folder is databases, and these are the user created databases, and also we have system databases. You see this one. Under system databases, we have master database, model database, MSDB, TempDB. 4 system databases are there. Okay, first let us try to understand one by one. Let me write here Object Explorer. Okay, so here in the left side, I showed you this databases folder, Object Explorer. Under databases folder, okay, we have system databases. See, system databases. First, we must understand what are they. Okay. The first one is master database. Okay. Next one is model database. Next one is MSDB. Okay, and the next one is TempDB. Okay. These are the system databases. Okay, first one is master database, second model, third one MSDB, okay, TempDB. Next one is TempDB. Let us see one by one. What is master database? It contains information about all databases. It contains information about all databases, and also it contains login information. And also system configuration, and also file locations also. Okay, file locations. So it contains information about all databases. Yes, I can see it. What is this?
Yeah, I'm able to see, like I found the application, this management, and I'm able.
Okay, fine. So this master database, it contains information about all databases. See here, I created many databases now. So this information will be, this databases information will be stored in master database. And also it contains login information, system configuration, file locations, etc. Okay, it is very important file. Suppose if it is lost, okay, if this is lost or corrupted, okay, corrupted, then SQL server may not work. It's an important database file, database master database, okay, default database. Okay, the next one is model database. What it is? Actually, it is a template. It is a template database. It is used to create to create new databases. Okay, so every time we create a new database, SQL server uses the model as a blueprint. Okay, if you are aware of object oriented programming, okay, there usually we write classes, right? We write classes. Okay. What is a class? It's a template. So after writing a class, after creating a class, what we do is we create a object. We create an object. So here also same thing. It is a template. Model database is a template database. It's a template database. And it is used to create new databases. So every time we create a new databases, SQL server, what it does is it takes this model database as a reference. It is the main class. Okay, and it is the model. It considers SQL server considers it as a blueprint. Okay, so whenever we want to create a database, it refers model database and creates the new database. That's why when you create a database like this, this is the user created. I created the database here. Okay, just click on properties. See here, it has general properties, files, file groups, options, configurations. Many options are there. Many options. How it is getting? Actually SQL server refers the model database here. It refers the model database and creates the database. It refers the model database and creates a database. It is just like an object for this thing. It is a template. Model database is a template. It acts as a template. Okay, like our class and object concept in our OOPS concepts. Okay, programming language we use now. So in the same way it works. Model database. The next one is MSDB. It is it's a scheduling and automation database. It's a scheduling and automation database. Okay, what it contains is it contains jobs. That means tasks. Okay, and also we can schedule backups. Okay, and we can create alerts, automations and all. Okay, and also maintenance plans also we can create here. What it is? MSDB. Who uses this one? It is used by SQL server agent. SQL Server agent. It is a service. It is a service for automating tasks. Okay, this I already told you that SQL Server agent. If you remember, under this components, where it is, see components in SQL Server. See that where it is, database services. Fifth one, services. SQL Server agent. It is for automation. So SQL Server agent, this uses MSDB. Okay, here we can schedule or automate the databases for backup and all. Okay, so internally it uses SQL Server agent uses MSDB. Okay, that is the purpose of MSDB and tempdb Okay. Just wait, let me have some water. Okay. Tempdb, actually it's a temporary storage used for storing temporary tables. Okay, and also intermediate uh, results and sorting operations. Okay, and it automatically automatically clears and resets every time SQL server restarts. Okay, it is a temporary storage. You will understand that when we have a concept called temporary tables. Okay, temporary tables concept. That time I will explain you again. So whenever we create a temporary tables, it will be created in tempdb. Okay, so here we have two types. Later we will discuss that temporary tables concept, and also intermediate results. It stores intermediate results. Okay, and for sorting operations also. And whenever whenever SQL server restarts, so it will be erased or clears automatically. It gets cleared. Okay, it resets. SQL server resets tempdb because it is temporary storage only. That is the purpose here. Okay, so these four are the default databases. These are the default databases. We call it as system databases. Okay, now let us see here. Let me create here one database, new database. Okay, just give one name here. This is one way how to create a new database using GUI, graphical user interface. Okay, let us create one database, sample db. Okay, sample db. I give name here, database name. I give name here. Okay, see database files here. Okay, here logical names it is showing. See sample db log. Okay, and the file types it is showing rows data log file, and file group primary. Okay, and initial size it is showing. See this we can change initial size, and auto growth. Okay, it has certain settings also here. Okay, and also file path where it is creating, and all these things I will teach you later. But it creates default files. Okay, and also see options here. It has Okay, collation. What is this collation? How do we use this collation? Okay, what is the recovery model? At the end of the course, I will teach you this recovery model and all. Okay, and compatibility level, okay, all these things. So file groups. What is a file group? File stream. All these things I will teach you later. Okay, but let us create the database. Okay, here I gave the name. Okay, and this is the owner. Default is owner. Okay, what is that owner and all? I will explain that later. Okay, just click on OK. Okay, so sample DB is created. Sample DB is created. It is our database. It contains the tables, views, many things are there. Okay, so how SQL Server created it? How SQL Server created it? It is a database, but for creating this database, SQL Server refers this model database. It is a template. It is a template. So by referring this model database, it creates this sample DB. Okay, and it contains all the properties. See, like our model database. See, it has all these properties. Okay, all these settings will be copied from model. Okay, all these are copied from model. It's a reference database. It acts as a blueprint. Okay, so SQL creates new database based on that. Okay, now we have SQL Server configuration manager settings also. Okay, that we can see tomorrow. So up to this, it is okay. If you have any doubts, let me understand. Do you have any queries here? Any doubts?
No doubts, but from learning about SQL query,
Mm.
so I'm very interested in that. So
Okay.
when in the course, I think you're going to cover that soon.
Yes, definitely. How to write SQL queries, okay, views and everything I will teach you that.
Okay.
So
Okay. Thank you.
any other doubts? This issue, Thomas. Okay. Today is also demo class. Okay. So probably from tomorrow onwards, link will be changed. Then I will start remaining things. Okay.
Okay. So tomorrow we start with the previous batch.
No. First, see,
Okay.
first 3-4 days, I will try to cover whatever the syllabus I completed for them. So once it is covered, then we will merge with the 8 p.m. batch. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, fine. Okay, so we can continue this tomorrow. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Good night.